right, well, you know, it always happens. Summer comes to an end, and then we get that fall cool weather coming. Some of you love it more than others, but with the days getting shorter and the temperatures dropping, it's kind of the time to make your space a little more cozy, isn't it? One of the things that I know in the fall is that I want cozy lighting. So I go on Wayfair and I look for that low light lamp, that adjustable lamp. It makes my office feel cozy for the people that come to see me, and it makes my house feel warmer. If you've got kids and you want cozy blankets, maybe it's a time to look for things for your couch, some pillows, anything that can make you want to hang out and be warm and cozy in your house. There's something for every style and every home, and Wayfair makes it so easy to tackle your home goals with room ideas and curated collections. There's free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. There's no need to shop at multiple stores. Wayfair has it all in one place. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collections of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Her coming to you and saying, I'm sad, I don't know what that means. I wouldn't say that that means she's depressed, but I would say that one of the preventative things you want to think about with her is how do you make sure that she is engaged in the world? Because when we talk about preventing depression with kids who are anxious, a lot of it has to do with their sadness or their isolation because they know that they're missing out on stuff.
Welcome to Season 8 of Flusterclux with Lynn Lyons, where we talk about managing worry, anxiety, and all the other emotions too.
I'm Lynn Lyons. I'm an anxiety expert, author, speaker, and mom. I've been a therapist for 35 years, and I'm still in the trenches with families, helping them navigate daily struggles and big problems. Parenting can be a flusterclux, but we tackle the serious stuff without being too serious.
I'm Robin. I'm Lynn's sister-in-law and co-host, and I'm here to ask your questions.
And I'm Ed, the producer of Flusterclux.
And my brother.
And my husband.
Anxiety is a family problem with a family solution. Hey, everybody. It's Lynn. And we are doing an in-session episode today. If you haven't listened to these episodes in the past, this is when I talk to a parent about an issue with their child. So I have a real life mom who has a real life daughter and a real life problem. And I am going to introduce her in a moment. And this is really very similar to just having a therapy session with me. I'm going to ask the questions I need to ask, and we're going to see if we can give some concrete help to this mom, whose name is Mary. Before we get started, I am always so grateful for anybody who volunteers to do this. I mean, I get it. You're saying, oh, I can get some help from Lynn. But truly, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. You're sharing stuff about your family. So, Mary, welcome. And I am so grateful for you agreeing to do this because other people are going to listen and you're going to help people. So tell us a little bit about you and about your daughter and what you're hoping to get from this and what's going on. Just dive right in.
Okay. Well, I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited and a little bit nervous, as you said, but I have a 13-year-old daughter. I'll start with saying she's amazing, but we do have some struggles with her. We've had them for several years now. Some things have definitely improved over time. Some things have not. Just want to make sure that we're doing the right things and not over accommodating where we don't need to be, but at the same time want to be sensitive to the fact that there's real things going on both in her body and in her head. So she's 13. She was diagnosed initially with ADHD and anxiety at the end of third grade. As she gets older, I'm starting to get concerned about at what point is anxiety, can it potentially turn into depression? Are the interventions that we've been doing till now sufficient, or do we need to consider things like medication?
Okay. Is she on any medication at all?
She's not on medication, no.
In terms of the ADHD and the anxiety diagnosis together, were these diagnoses done based on school testing? Was it done? How did you come to understand what was going on with her in third grade?
Starting in second grade, I think the teacher started expressing concerns to us about lack of focus in class and distracting other kids. And like, she's a lovely kid. She loves people. So, like, everybody loves her. But she was, had a hard time focusing and was distracting others. And they noticed that her reading was like not delayed. No one ever said she had a delay, but it just wasn't where they wanted it to be. And they started encouraging that we get a neuropsych. After 2 years of them kind of recommending this, we were like, okay, fine, we'll bite the bullet and do like a full neuropsych. And then, so after the neuropsych, that's when they formally diagnosed her with ADHD and anxiety.
Okay, so as we're talking about this now, what are the issues currently that you're most concerned about or that you want to stay ahead of?
So we've been struggling with sleep issues for years. She has a hard time sleeping by herself in her room, in her own bed. So we've tried various things. We've tried me going and putting her to bed in her room, which is like me going in, lay down in the bed with her. Usually I'm asleep before she is. And like, this is a great situation, right? And for a while it was okay. She was young, it was nice. Like, she would always share with me, like, that's her time when she like will tell me stuff that happened at school, and so it's nice. It's like definitely a time where I feel like we bond, and I think she really values that time with me. So I feel bad not doing that. So we're here years later and it's still happening. And now she's sleeping in my bed. So now I'm sort of been like, well, I no longer want to come and sleep in your bed. I would like to sleep in my own bed. So, like, for a while, it was like, okay, well, I'll just come read with you.
And is this when she says, I'm sad? So when it's time for her to go into your bed? No?
They're disconnected. So, like, she'll say that maybe, I don't know, an hour or two before bedtime. So, like,
Uh huh.
evening-ish time, but not bedtime.
Uh huh.
But I wonder if somehow she's already thinking about bedtime is coming. Like, how is this going to all play out? Maybe they're unrelated.
Okay.
But, at this point now, she's old enough that I feel like we're doing her a disservice, right? Like, by not having taught her how to sleep on her own, right?
And has she ever slept on her own? Was there a period of time when she was little?
Well, when she was little, she used to, like, we were very, scheduled, and for a while, like, it just kind of happened, right? It was like, at first it was nice and, like, felt good, and then now, not that it's not nice and it doesn't feel good. I love it still, but I understand that it's not good for her.
And does she sleep the whole night in your bed?
So it can go where she'll sleep the whole night, because a lot of times my husband feels bad waking her up. She's always like, wake me up, I'll move, I'll move. And when we do, she's very good about going to her own bed. But sometimes he feels bad waking her up. So, like, he's not waking her up and she's sleeping in the bed the whole night.
So the three of you are in the bed together?
No, he'll sleep on the couch or he'll sleep in her bed or something.
Okay. And are there other kids in the family? You don't have to give me names or ages, but
Yes, older brother, 2 years older.
okay. There's a few things I want to ask you about, but it sounds like that sleep thing would be an important thing to tackle because she's in middle school, she's 13, and you two are bed buddies, and your husband is kicked out. So we do want to rectify that. You're right, because when's the end going to come? I also want to talk about what she's doing in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can talk about what are the other important skills or what are the other things that you feel like you want to put in place. Because as she's moving through middle school and as she's moving into high school, we want to make sure that she's developing her independence and all that jazz. So we're going to take a quick break and I'm going to come back and I'm going to start peppering you with questions. So be prepared. All right. Well, it always happens. Summer comes to an end, and then we get that fall cool weather coming. Some of you love it more than others, but with the days getting shorter and the temperatures dropping, it's kind of the time to make your space a little more cozy, isn't it? One of the things that I know in the fall is that I want cozy lighting. So I go on Wayfair and I look for that low light lamp, that adjustable lamp. It makes my office feel cozy for the people that come to see me, and it makes my house feel warmer. If you've got kids and you want cozy blankets, maybe it's a time to look for things for your couch, some pillows, anything that can make you want to hang out and be warm and cozy in your house. There's something for every style and every home, and Wayfair makes it so easy to tackle your home goals with room ideas and curated collections. There's free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. There's no need to shop at multiple stores. Wayfair has it all in one place. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collections of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. At Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family. You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions. From Magi Quest, a live action game that takes place throughout the lodge, to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part, with 23 lodges across the country, you're always only a short drive away from the adventure. I was just looking at pictures with Robin about when she took her family when her kids were little. The pictures, boy, they look like they were having the best time. I mean, just looking at these pictures, it makes you want to go and have a great time. So bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Book your stay at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Hey, you know what I'm wearing right now? My Bombas. I love these socks. I just ordered 6 additional pairs, so I've got probably 10 pairs now. I wear them all the time. I wear them when I hike. I wear them when I walk. I wear them to the gym. They are comfortable and they get the job done. If you are a runner, if you are a hiker, you know what a blister can do to your hike. You know how it can just absolutely debilitate you. Having comfortable socks makes a difference. If you are looking for head to toe comfort, they don't stop at socks either. They've got white t-shirts that you barely have to break in, waterproof slides, buttery, soft, sweat-wicking underwear that feels barely there. Best of all, Bombas don't just feel good, they do good. One purchase equals one donated to someone who needs it. That's pretty cool. You can also order Bombas abroad now. That's right. Along with the U.S., they now ship internationally. So head to bombas.com and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com, code AUDIO at checkout. Bombas.com and use code AUDIO. I love these socks. You will too. Okay, we're back. All right, Mary, we're back talking about 13-year-old Reese. If you bring up this bed thing, does she say, oh, I shouldn't be sleeping in the bed with you, Mom, or I'm too old for this, or I wish I could fall asleep in my own bed? She's totally fine with it.
She's fine with it, and it's kind of become a game now where it's like when we know it's bedtime, she's like, we'll run into my room and like jump in the bed, and it's like play with the dog, and the dog is riled up and she's riled up, and it's like,
Yeah.
ha ha ha, big joke, fun, fun, fun. You know, we're just doing this. And then she's in the bed. To get her out of the bed, I would, like it would be like a conflict situation, which I really try to avoid.
Are there any other things, and maybe if we asked your husband or you asked your son, are there any other things that she's doing that they are going like, oh, she shouldn't be allowed to do those things, but Mom's trying to avoid conflict? Like, is there any other way that she's sort of in charge and helping avoid conflict?
My son would probably have a laundry list of things. Like he's, the oldest and he feels like she gets babied. But she is very nervous about crowded spaces. So, I mean, we live in the city and there's no avoiding it. And so she was very nervous about taking the subway for a long time.
Okay.
We've kind of got her past that. She prefers not to, but we've made her practice to do that over, the last year. And I've been taking, since COVID happened, I've been taking them to school. So she gets driven to school. She gets picked up in the car. So she hasn't really been taking the subway. So I guess that's one way, right? But what other thing? So, but next year we've told her, so your brother's going on his own. We would like you to go together. He wants to take the train. The bus is too slow for him. So we've told her that. So either you can take the train with him or you can take the bus by yourself because we're very accessible by all the bus lines and the school's not far and she can totally handle that. So at first she was like, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not ready. I'm not, like one more year. And we were like, well, I don't think so. I think we're going to have to start.
Does she go to friends' houses? What's her social life like?
So she's made improvements. This past year, we've seen a lot of improvement in that area. For a long time, she was mainly comfortable with people coming here. And she had a few sleepovers with friends that I had to pick her up from because she was very upset.
Okay. Has she ever made it through?
She has. So she has. So this summer, we've seen tremendous progress. She's actually had 2 extended trips with her friends that went great. And she will, she now has friends where she will go to their house and hang out at the house, and it's okay. It's not a long, extensive list, but even a few is fine. That's okay with me.
That's totally fine. The research even shows if you've got a few good friends, kids tend to do better. Girls tend to do better when they have a few good friends than if they have this huge, unwieldy group of 12 kids. Okay.
I mean, one of the things is she does have a little bit of rigidity in the sense that she has in her mind an idea of how things should go. And when things don't go her way, it's hard for her to adjust to that.
And that rigidity is a real part of both ADHD and anxiety. So you're right to sort of focus on that and talk to her about the flexibility of being able to take in other opinions and sometimes keep your opinions to yourself and all the kind of social things that we do that allow us to be engaged with people. Okay. Yeah.
So she's getting better, but I do see when I'm around and she's with her friends, I mean, a lot of time I just try to let them figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do have to step in and just be like, don't be so.
Like a piece of uncooked spaghetti. All right. What is she doing in therapy? And if I may say this with just a tinge of judgment, why hasn't the therapist gotten the 13-year-old out of your bed?
Oh, so I mean, we've tried. We've had discussions about this, and I don't know, maybe I've done the wrong thing, and I don't know. Maybe I haven't done my job properly, or
Has the therapist given you a plan? Do you go to the therapy at all?
so not really. And so most of the time it's just the 2 of them.
The therapist isn't coming up with plans and things for you to work on as parents between appointments. All right. If you listen to the podcast, you know how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of in the dark. So here's sort of what I'm hearing from you. Here's what you're telling me. I've got this 13-year-old. I want to make sure that I'm preventative. I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of what I need to stay on top of. She goes to therapy. We don't go. I don't know what she's learning. She's adding tools to her toolbox. I'm going to ask you in a minute what those tools are. She's not working on anything that you know of between sessions. She sleeps in your bed. You don't know how to get her out of the bed. You're doing a good job coaching her about the rigidity with friends. It sounds like you are on top of that. You are using that language. You need to be flexible. You need to listen to what other people say. And she does have good friends. So whatever you're doing in that department, good for you. You're letting her know that that's something she needs to pay attention to. But in terms of her being able to make those steps that allow her to increase her independence so that she can take the train to school, that she can sleep in her own bed, that she can go off into the world a little bit more confidently, or at least have some confidence in her ability to problem solve, that's where it sounds like you haven't gotten the help that you need. And you're conflict avoidant, you said. So even on the inside, when there's a part of you saying, like, oh my God, I don't want her in my bed, there's another part of you that's saying, but I don't want to cause a conflict. What about your husband? Is he conflict avoidant too? Are the two of you on the same conflict avoidant page? Or is he like, come on, Mary, we got to get on with this? What's his approach?
No, he's also conflict averse. And as I said, like a lot of times he just feels bad, he's like, there she's so sweet and innocent and peaceful. Like, how can I move her?
Yeah.
And I tell him, you just have to wake her up and move her, right? Like that has worked in the past, right? But I know that that's also not it either. Like even the whole thing should happen in her room, in her bed. But it felt like, maybe baby steps were going to be okay, but he just doesn't have the stomach. So if I happen to wake up, I will move her. But if I don't wake up, then chances are he's not going to have the heart to move her.
Okay. And what would your son say about all of this? If we were to ask him, what's his...
Yeah, he definitely feels like she gets special treatment.
By the way, she does.
She does. I feel like, yeah, that's what he would say, that it's not fair, probably.
Does she ever get angry? Does she get explosive? Does she do anything that makes you back off in that way?
She used to, but she's gotten that under control, quite a bit. Yeah, she used to have like flare-ups, but she doesn't really have that anymore.
And how often do you or your husband tell her no, she can't do something?
So I am, it's hard for my husband to say no to her.
Is she a daddy's girl?
I mean, no, she's a mama's girl.
Oh, okay.
But it's hard for him to say no to her. And I try to say no, but it's hard when you're a conflict averse person.
But as soon as you say no, or as soon as you say we have to do it this way, and as soon as she pushes back, you feel like you're being mean. You feel like you don't want to have conflict with her, so you just give in.
Not always, but it does happen more than I would like, I think.
Okay. When she wasn't going to school, was that one of the problems? Is that she was waking up and saying, I'm not going to school, and you didn't want to have
So she legitimately wasn't feeling well for like months, and we ended up...
In what way?
So she had like a succession of viral infections, which started with strep and then like developed into a pneumonia. And so she like really wasn't feeling well, but like at a certain point, it became something else, right? And it was like just she'd been out for so long, and it was very hard to know what part of her really still wasn't feeling that bad that she couldn't go to school versus which part just was so uncomfortable because she'd already been out for so long.
And was she going to therapy during all this?
I don't think so. I don't really recall, to be honest, but I feel like if she was, it was remote, and like it's not the best remote.
Okay, so you got her back into school.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a victory. So here's what I'm struck by, Mary, is that what you are describing is so textbook for anxious kids. I feel badly for you. Now, you had this pediatrician friend that was probably like, okay, Mary, come on, I know what this is. But it sounds like you weren't really getting very good advice or very good guidance of what to do differently, or if somebody was telling you what to do, you guys weren't listening. But man, oh man, this is just like such textbook avoidant, anxious kid behavior. Could you see that at the time? Did you know that that was what was going on?
So initially, yes, which is why when she would complain about stomach aches, we just kind of like didn't really pay too much mind to it. It was almost like we know that it's probably anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
but let's rule out all of the other medical things and then we'll deal with the anxiety.
Okay. All right. Now we got to deal with the anxiety. And you guys haven't dealt with it yet. So you're sending her to weekly CBT and then bi-weekly CBT. But without you guys being involved, without you guys having a plan, without you guys knowing what to say and what to do and getting a lot of support so that you can follow up, nothing's going to change. And so when you say, and when you wrote to me and you said, I'm worried because she's going to be going into high school and I don't want her to get depressed, there's a part of you that is really saying, we need to do more here. And I don't know what to do. So, what are the tools in her toolbox? You said that her therapist, I mean, you can obviously tell, like, I'm trying to be nice to the therapist, but this is what drives me crazy, Mary, is that for you to have gone through this with your daughter, for her to be 13 and you don't know what the goals of therapy are. I mean, woo. So that said, like, that's my frustration. This is why the mental health field needs to learn how to treat anxiety better, because I feel badly that you've dealt with this for so many years and made progress despite the fact that you weren't involved. Okay, so what are the tools that she's learned?
This past year, the therapist also told me that she has like sensitivity issues, which a lot of kids with ADHD have. She recommended OT for that. And I was just like,
For sensory issues?
yeah. And I was like, I don't know, that just something about that. Like she's had so many interventions already that like I didn't feel like I wanted to introduce another therapy into her life. So I'm not against medication,
Yeah.
but I'm also not for it. I'm like of the mind that we should try all of the things we can try without medication first. So the therapist recommended medication,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel like we're there yet
Was she recommending anxiety for the medication for the anxiety, not for the ADHD?
for the
Okay.
anxiety.
Okay. So you haven't done all the things.
I know. That's what I feel like like, that's what my gut tells me, which
Your
is
gut's
why I
right.
didn't wanna sign up.
It's not your gut. Your brain is telling you that too.
Yeah. I didn't wanna sign up for the medication because I feel like there's still, perhaps things that we need to explore with
Well,
her.
you as parents, what you need some coaching by somebody who's an expert in anxiety, not a parenting coach that got a certification on a weekend, but somebody who works with parents to help them interrupt these patterns. So a few minutes ago, I asked you, what are the tools that your daughter has learned?
Cool. So she's doing, like, breathing techniques and, like, ice helps her. What other things? Let me see. I should probably know all of the things, but I've always kind of felt like there's this, like, mysterious toolbox, and I've never seen it. And when does she use it, and how does she know to use it at 13 years old, 10 years old, right? When this all started. She's had some panic attacks at school, so clearly she's not accessing this toolbox.
Well, breathing in ice cubes are not what she needs. I mean, breathing is fine. Okay. Breathing is fine. Here's what she needs.
Okay.
She
Tell me.
needs, okay, she needs, have you listened to the Anxiety Disruptor series in the podcast, the 7 episodes we did?
I don't know if I've got through all 7, but I listened to a chunk of them,
Okay.
yes.
So, what she needs and what you need to do as a family, and honestly, right now, if I were in charge of this, I would be like, I'll meet with Reese a few times, but I really need to meet with Mary and her husband. So, you need to pick something that you feel like is important. I would say the bed thing is a really concrete thing that you can work on, the bedtime thing. And I would say to her, your worry, your anxiety, I like to name it, so we name it Stella, is dictating what you do and what you don't do. And it is now time for you to practice going to sleep in your own bed because you're a teenager. And I am not going to let Stella be in charge of you and me and dad. we are going to work on you from this point forward. And a lot of times people will be like, well, we have to take baby steps. You've been taking baby steps for about 8 years now. So we're going to amp up the steps. You need to go into your bed and go to sleep. Now, you've never done this before. Does she fall asleep quickly in your bed? Okay.
Pretty quickly.
Okay.
Now she's taken to wanting to watch a show, which it's hard in the summer, but like I don't think that this is a good situation because she's going to just always need to be on the laptop before she goes to sleep.
Correct. Who doesn't love summer? Something about it just makes you feel your best. You're active, you're healthy. So it's a great time to create healthy meal habits that last right into the fall, right into the winter. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating, and I'll tell you why. Green Chef makes it easy to spend less time in the kitchen, more time enjoying summer, and they are perfect meals for supporting your wellness journey. Their recipes feature fresh, organic, seasonal produce, 100% responsibly sourced proteins, clean, real ingredients that are going to help you build lasting healthy habits without the hassle for you and your family. I love the Mediterranean choices. They've also got plant-based. And if you're looking to up your protein, they've got really delicious protein-heavy meals that I have loved. The recipes change every week, and with week-to-week flexibility, you can adjust your plan to match your mood and your schedule. Make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50fluster and use code 50fluster to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. I love these meals and so will you. So use code 50fluster at greenchef.com/50fluster. Hey, how did you make money when you were a kid? I used to babysit, and I remember we had this incredible lemonade stand that made us a lot of cash. Then what do you do with the money? Were you a saver? Were you a spender? Do you have kids that get money that it burns a hole in their pocket and they spend it on things really quickly, but you'd much rather have them learn how to save up or think more thoughtfully about what they're using their money for? If you are interested in giving your kids a head start on their money skills, then you should think about using Acorns Early. Acorns Early is the smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up. Instead of having kids that get money and spend it quickly, it introduces them to the idea of how to set savings goals, start building healthy money habits early. They can spend what they've earned with their very own customizable debit card, giving them that extra sense of independence. And you know how I love giving kids independence. If this product had been around when my kids were younger, I would have absolutely used it. Plus, with spending limits and real-time spend notifications, you're always in the loop too. Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend? Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/fluster or download the Acorns Early app. That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/fluster. Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/earlyterms. Fall is in full swing. It's the perfect time to refresh your wardrobe with pieces that feel as good as they look. Luckily, Quince makes it easy to look polished, to stay warm, and to save big without compromising on quality. I'm looking at some cashmere sweaters. They also have great washable silk shirts that travel well for me and work fabulously for work. If you wear t-shirts like I do, they have a cotton modal scoop t-neck 3-pack for $36. 3 high-quality t-shirts. I already have several of their t-shirts. I love them. By partnering directly with ethical top-tier factories, Quince cuts out the middlemen to deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. If you are interested in looking good, in saving money, and in having a great wardrobe that works for you this fall, keep it classic and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/fluster for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/fluster Fluster to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Fluster. Okay, so now back to the show. What you're going to do is you're going to explain to her. I would get Playing with Anxiety, my book that I wrote for tweens, and I would read that with her. And what you might do is that you're going to read a chapter of that with her before bed, and then she goes into her own bed. Don't read it in your bed or in her bed. Just read it. And then she goes into her bed. She's allowed to have books. She's allowed to have coloring books. She can make friendship necklaces. I don't care, but no screens. So she is dictating the terms of going to bed. And what you want to do is say to her, you can fall asleep. You can get tired. You can get cozy in your bed in any way you want to, other than using screens, but you are going to fall asleep in your bed. Now, if that freaks her out, and if she says, no, you say, I'm going to put you in your bed, kiss you goodnight, and then I'll come back in 10 minutes and just peek my head in the door and see how you're doing. And then, but you're going to stay in your bed and you're going to go to sleep in your bed. And this is the very same thing that I do with 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. So she's bigger now, which makes it more difficult because if she decides that, no, she's not doing it, you have to say to her, Dad and I are going to sleep in our bed and you're going to sleep in your bed. You're a teenager. This isn't a game. I need my sleep. Now, what you have said to me multiple times is, I really enjoy it. I really like it. And your husband has said, oh, it's too mean to move her. You are not equipping her with a really, really important skill, which is the ability to put herself to bed. So that's how you want to think of it. We are equipping her with a really important skill. And I would start it very soon because school starts for her in the end of August or the beginning of September. So you want to start doing this soon. And I would really focus on that. Does she have any chores or responsibilities at home? Does she do anything?
Setting the table, washing the dishes, the dishwasher, taking out the trash, taking the dog. So the usual things.
Okay. And does she do those things? Okay. So she's pretty cooperative. If you ask her to take the dog out, she does. Okay. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay.
Unless she's arguing with her brother about whose turn it is.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. So she's got some responsibilities and she's contributing, which is awesome. So after you sort of focus on that as the main thing to target, and then I think the other thing too, which you brought up, which is a great idea, is that she's going to get to school. I mean, she goes to the same school as her brother. They're going to take the train together. She's not going to be, you're not shoving her out into the world by herself. I would say that that's an expectation that you have too. So if you focus on those two things, you're going to go to sleep by yourself and you're going to get to school by yourself. And this is not you being mean to her, Mary. This is you saying, it is my job to equip you with important skills. I toilet trained you. I taught you how to use a spoon. I taught you how to wash your hair. I taught you how to put on your shoes and socks. I am equipping you with important skills. And as your mom, that's my job. And then I would get the Playing with Anxiety book. I would listen to the podcast and I would really focus on, how does this worry thing work? It's not complicated. It shows up, it makes rules, and then it demands that Reese and you and your husband and maybe even your son follow those rules. And thus far, it's been pretty easy for her worry to sort of dictate things because she hasn't really gotten a lot of pushback. And you and your husband are really pretty cooperative with the worry. We want her to understand the bigger picture. The goal is for her to step into the things that make her worried. I would have a meeting with her therapist and I would say, we need to meet, my husband and I, the three of us. You don't have to bring your son into it. He'd probably be like, oh my God, please no. The four of us have to meet together, therapist, and because we need to come up with a plan to get her into her own bed and to get her to school and to consistently work on developing her autonomy. She's got a lot of things going for her, things that are not red flags for me. One is that she has friends that she enjoys being with, that she hangs out with, that she does things, that she is going to school now. But I would really focus on making sure that you are not buying into this idea that she can't handle things, that she's not capable, that you aren't accommodating her. So when she says, I can't do this because, your response is, okay, so that's like right now, your worry is in charge and your worry is telling you that you can't handle it. I know it's uncomfortable, but we're going to practice you stepping in and handling things. She's not going to like that. It's not her fault that she's not doing that. It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. The only person that I would put a lot of responsibility on is a therapist that's been teaching her breathing exercises and handling ice cubes for however many years that you've been paying for weekly and biweekly therapy. Because if she goes in, if I were to ask Reese, what do you do in therapy? Do you know what she would say?
I think she would say they talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay.
I think, I feel like she's developed a rapport with her. She's got middle school drama to talk about, so she goes in and she talks about it. Like we connect so that we can speak the same language, but to your point, I don't feel like I have concrete
Steps to
tools.
take. Right.
Yes.
Nor does
Right.
she. And I talk about the 3 X's. We're going to expect the worry to show up. We're going to externalize it so she has an idea. We name the worry. Middle schoolers don't like to do that. So you'll get pushback on that. This is why, when I do it with elementary school students, they think it's fun. When I do it with high schoolers, they understand that we're doing it symbolically. Middle schoolers would be like, oh, that's so babyish. But do it and say, this is a way for us to look at these patterns. This is a way for us to make sure that we are not putting your worry in charge of the decisions that you make and the decisions that Dad and I make about you. There are classes that are offered. You would also probably benefit from the SPACE program, which is a program developed by Ellie Leibovitz. We speak the same language, but it's just for parents. And I have worked just with parents for years and years and years. It is really so, so essential. And so he has a book that might be helpful for you, Breaking Free of Your Child's Anxiety and OCD. Not that she has OCD, but he includes that. But really become as informed as you can about how to set expectations for Reese and how not to let her anxiety determine what comes next. What's also interesting to me is that when kids are diagnosed with ADHD in 3rd grade, even if it's along with anxiety, what's interesting to me is that she was never medicated for the ADHD because that's also often indicated, and not a bad thing, really, if kids aren't functioning, it can help, but that she's made progress enough that she's not going to get any more services. I'm not so confident in the ADHD diagnosis as I am as the anxiety is running in the show. And I'm not looking at her neuropsych and I'm not seeing what it's showing. And so she may have ADHD. She certainly doesn't have it as severely as some of the kids that I work with because she's doing a good job. And oftentimes when kids are in middle school, that's when we really see a lot of the executive functioning problems skyrocket. They go through the roof.
Well, she asked me to get her a tutor
Oh, okay.
to help her, which I think is amazing for someone her age to be able to recognize that like she might need extra help, right?
Good.
So she asked to get a tutor a tutor in everything is how she put it. And my interpretation is she needs an executive functioning tutor, someone to just help her organize. Yeah.
I think that's a good step to take. And you want somebody who is really skilled in what are the skills that kids with ADHD need to learn? What are the executive functioning skills that we're building? And really giving her concrete things that she's going to do to help her manage this brain of hers. But I wouldn't hesitate at this point to talk to this therapist and say, we need to start meeting as a foursome because we need to come up with a plan. She's 13. She needs to be out of my bed. She's got to go to school. Here's what I would want her to understand. And you can have her listen to the podcast. You can have her read the book with you. I want her to understand how worry works. And when kids are given skills and tools like ice and breathing, she isn't able to tell me and describe to me how worry shows up, what it does. I would love at 13 for her to be able to know why she had stomach aches. And one of the reasons that we get stomach aches when we're anxious is because our digestive system shuts down when the amygdala is activated and it slows digestion. And a lot of kids have stomach issues. And then they have a hard time even knowing if their stomach is hurting or not hurting. So the number one thing is I want you to have a meeting with the therapist. And I want you to say, we need some concrete plans. Because right now she's going in and talking. And I'm sure she has lots of middle school drama to talk about, but we need a plan and we need help following through. And if you need to go to somebody else to get that, you can go to somebody else. I want you and your husband, I want you to work on being able to tolerate pushback from her. Because when your husband says, if he were here and he said to me, oh, but she's so cute when she's sleeping in her bed, I would say to her, you know what? Nobody else thinks that's cute. Nobody else does. Not a single other person on the planet thinks it's cute that your 13-year-old kicked you out of the bed. That's why I said she's a daddy's girl, because I had a client I have clients that will be like, well, she's just a daddy's girl. And I'll say, nobody likes a daddy's girl except daddy, right? Nobody says, oh my gosh, I want to marry a daddy's girl. Nobody says that. So that's your job. And it means that you're going to have to be uncomfortable. It means that you're going to have to tolerate her distress. It means that you're going to have to say, this is what I'm teaching her. This is what she needs, because you're exactly right, is that you're paying attention to where she goes from here. And that's exactly what you should be doing as a mom. You're absolutely on the right track there. Her coming to you and saying, I'm sad, I don't know what that means. I wouldn't say that that means she's depressed, but I would say that one of the preventative things you want to think about with her is, how do you make sure that she is engaged in the world? Because when we talk about preventing depression with kids who are anxious, a lot of it has to do with their sadness or their isolation because they know that they're missing out on stuff.
So this is actually one of the other things that I did have on my list, which is her reluctance to engage in activities on her own. So we were really trying to encourage her to go to sleepaway camp. Her brother went to sleepaway camp this summer for 2 weeks, and we've been trying to encourage her for years, and she doesn't want to do that unless she's going with a friend. We've tried all of the after school enrichment that exists. Like, I feel like all the dance classes, all of the, she's not like an athlete, but she's done like swimming. She loves swimming. She doesn't want to do anything competitive.
That's okay.
So at this age, that kind of like limits the options for her, because at this age, any kind of sport extracurricular usually involves some sort of competitive nature to it because they're older, right? So she no longer wants to do that. And I know that physical activity is something that's very important for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been very difficult to convince her that she needs to do extracurricular activities.
Well, just as it's been very difficult to convince her she needs to sleep in her own bed, because you're trying to convince her and she's like, nah, everybody has put her worry in charge. And so when you're going and saying, hey, I think you should do this activity, and her worry says, no, thank you, you're like, ugh, rats. In terms of swimming is a great thing for kids to do. It's a great thing for adults to do. And it's a very active sport, so it feels good. I wonder if there is a team she could be on where you just say she's going to come to the practices, but she's not interested in doing the meets.
Now swimming involves a whole nother set of middle school girl issues that is probably for another time, right? Where like she's got to get on a bathing suit in front of other people. And
right. But what I'm saying is that for everything that she's trying to avoid, the content doesn't matter to me. Whether it's crowds, subways, her bedroom, school, swim team, it's all the same. And so you can say to her, you need to come up with an activity to do that's outside of the home. I don't care what it is. You want to learn how to crochet? You can go to crochet class. If you want to go to woodworking, if you want to go to camel riding, anything that she can do. And she will come up, her worry will come up with reasons as to why she can't do it. Because the goal of worry is to avoid if I'm not certain, if I'm not comfortable. And this is where you need the help and you need the coaching, is that you've got to say, we're not putting your worry in charge. Here's what's important for you. Collaborate with her. You can come up with things that she might be interested in. There's a lot of, maybe she likes to take tap dancing.
She's an artist. She loves to do art. Yeah, and she's going to be doing volunteering with her friend once a week, so that's good.
That's excellent.
But I really strongly believe that she would benefit from physical activity.
Yes.
And to your point, that the fact that she says she doesn't want to be on a competitive team is just probably her anxiety, thinking of excuses of why she shouldn't do this thing that I'm 100% confident if she tried, would do great.
Yes. And that's the message is you're going to do this. I have confidence that you can do this. And you're going to feel uncomfortable. And I know it's hard for you. And I know you feel scared. But we are not putting the worry in charge. We are not putting the worry in charge. The start of school year is one of those reset times, one of those reboot times where you can say, now that you're going into such and such a grade, now that you're this, we're going to start doing things in this way. And the name of the game for you and your husband is consistency, not perfection, but pretty darn consistent. And the message is, we're not putting your worry in charge.
Sounds simple enough.
It is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And it means that you can have the confidence. I am giving you permission. I am urging you to say, I am going to step in and do this for my girl. And she's going to be uncomfortable, and I'm going to be uncomfortable, and dad's going to be uncomfortable. And your son's going to say, it's about time. Good God, people, come on, let's go. And it is okay. It is in her best interest for you to have a little conflict with her. You don't have to get in arguments and fights with her, but to hold your ground and say, I'm not putting your worry in charge of you or me. And I know that's hard for you, but I'm not doing it anymore. And that's going to serve her well, for sure. So focus on the school, the bed, and then some other activity. The school, the bed, and some other activity.
When we say the school, what do we mean?
Make her to school, taking the bus.
Oh, yeah, getting to school. Yes. Those are right. So, and you're right. The beginning of the school year is a great time to reset, new rules, new grade, new age, new responsibilities, brand new you. It's a good time to make. And do you think it's better do everything all at once? Just pull the Band-Aid and just do it all?
It's going to take a little time to find an activity, but I would say the bed and getting to school, I would do both of those things at the same time. Yeah. You've been talking about it for a long time. It's not like she doesn't know it's coming.
Definitely.
Yep. And you're going to meet with the therapist and you're going to say, we need to focus on her learning how to manage her worry. Not learning how to melt ice cubes, but learning how to manage her worry. The ice thing drives me crazy. You can tell. Everybody who listens to this podcast know there are certain things that I'm like, When she gets upset, she holds ice cubes. I'm sure that doesn't do any harm, but we need more than that. And I think that's what you've been sensing is we need more than that. We need more than that. Yeah. You are paying attention to the right things. Your concerns are spot on. And you see this pretty clearly, I think. And you just needed a little more concrete information and a whole lot of permission to step into this and to know that you're doing the right thing for her when you're pushing her a bit. And when she's pushing back, if I feel uncomfortable or uncertain, I'm on the right track. The goal is to get the worry to show up so she can practice managing it. Not trying to get rid of it, but getting it to show up. Very counterintuitive, but absolutely necessary. You can do it. I'll say the same thing to you that you're going to say to her. I'll say, look, this is going to make you uncomfortable, Mary. You're not going to like it, but I have every confidence you can do it. We're going to step in and we're going to handle the discomfort that's going to come with this.
I've got this. No, I know. I'm laughing, but I know you're right. Like everything you're saying really resonates with me. And I think I knew that already.
Yes, you did know it. You did know it. You needed some help. You needed some coaching. Sending your daughter off to therapy by herself for years and years without you getting any coaching. This is why I'm screaming this from the rooftops and have been for years, because you are evidence of that. A really caring parent who didn't know what to do. Yeah. All right. I thank you so much for spending time with me. And I'm sure that so many people listening to this are going to absolutely relate to the exact position that you are in. So you have done a very wonderful thing by sharing your story. And maybe in a few months, you could let us know what's happening and we could give an update, because I think that there's a lot of room here for you guys to move forward and you're just on the cusp. All right. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for listening. And if you found this podcast helpful, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find this information.
And if you'd like to dig deeper on any of these topics, we have specialized playlists on our Spotify profile, and the link is in the show notes. Topics like teens, depression, and OCD. Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Robin.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.